Let's dive into the commercial real estate sector now. Cities across the U.S. and parts of the world are facing an issue, a lack of occupancy in commercial real estate. San Francisco has one of the most expensive real estate markets in the country, but also one of the most vacant. Now, for more insight into the commercial real estate market, we're joined by Ken Johnson. Ken's the Christie Kirkland Walker Chair of Real Estate at the University of Mississippi School of Business Administration. Ken, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Thank you for taking time.
Glad to be back, Sean.
Okay, so we know that residential housing market, it's making some strides. It may be small right now in terms of growth, mainly seeing mortgage rates trickle down just a little bit and hope for that rate cut next month. But on the other side, what does the general state of the commercial real estate sector look like? Here in Washington, D.C., the mayor has been adamant. We want people to come back in the office 5 days a week. We need that vibrant feel and the economic benefits that it brings to the city.
So you pretty much have a mixed bag across the four food groups, if you will. So you have office, multifamily, retail, and industrial. And really the major problem right now is going on in office, and you hit the core of the problem. People are not coming back into the office.
Okay, expand on that just a bit. Tell us what kind of damage it's done to economies, and is the economy recovering? How much has it recovered since the pandemic 1-2 punch?
Sure. From a commercial real estate space, again, the issue is on the office side. It is coming back. So it varies into, number one, where you're located in the country. Number two, what is the type? Are you client-facing or are you back office? Client-facing is not having near as much trouble as you have for those places that are, well, the back office work, because that back office work could be done from home. So it's hard to say right now, as to how we're going to come out of this, but the prices are still not so low or falling so low to be worried about a complete crisis at this point in time.
You said that it kind of depends on various parts of the country. We know San Francisco has some of the most expensive commercial real estate in the country. Tell us about areas that are doing okay and areas that continue to struggle.
Sure. So San Francisco is one of those areas that's continuing to struggle. Other areas are Los Angeles to an extent. An area that's doing quite well, though, quite honestly, is Southeast Florida, Miami. The office market there is very, very vibrant and prospering. San Francisco is trying this thing, rent-free initiative. Also going on in Hong Kong, they're introducing similar measures. They're starting to get an initiative that offers rent-free spaces to entrepreneurs as well. Getting the young people in there, perhaps taking an idea and trying to turn it into a business right now. What are your thoughts on the San Francisco, Hong Kong types of measures where you really say, look, come in here for 6 months. If it doesn't work, you can move on. But right now, we're getting dime zero, and we have been for the last 3 or 4 years. Well, it suggests that the market is probably nearing its bottom. So just like in stocks, when real estate prices are falling, you're trying to catch a falling knife. And so now when you start to see things like this, it's suggesting that you're perhaps at the bottom. The chances of this working, I don't think are really good in the long run. Because you're still earning zero if you're at free rents and providing other concessions. However, you're hoping that business will generate. So you've got to do something right now. But this is still mostly, at least in the San Francisco area, putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound.
Okay. Let's talk about the shift that we have seen in the sector to adapt to remote work. It has worked in a lot of places, and people who have been doing it don't want to come back in the office.
Oh, that's correct. And many times they don't need to come back into the office. Many jobs, though, are dependent on being in the office every day again. And oddly enough, many jobs are dependent on being in sometimes, but not others. This is creating a very complicated situation as to what is the optimal mix of time in office. And this is not helping the office problem. So this is an issue, and until we get this worked out, we're probably going to have some uneasiness in this sector of commercial real estate.
What are other cities and other countries doing, trying to come up with initiatives that may think out of the box in an effort to boost these real estate vacancies?
Sure. I'm not so sure about other countries, but I know, for example, in Florida, they have the Live Local Act, where they're looking to be able to more easily
transition buildings from one use to another. This is mostly set up for commercial to transition into some form of multifamily because of the housing problem there. It's not the panacea, but it appears to be working and off to a good start. So government's getting involved to some extent, and it's usually trying to expedite the process of conversion from one type of use to another.
Real quickly, do you ever see business in cities going back to the way it was?
No.
How come?
Well, the people are going to be working from off-site. That's just the way we're going to be. I think you're going to see a lot of people that will be relocating on the off-site. I don't have to work in the office, so you're going to see people migrating to areas of the country that are perhaps not as heavily populated, and you're going to be displaced from where you're forward-facing, client-facing people for a company are versus where you are if you're a remote worker. It's going to be disruptive for some time to come.